Omagyanatimaridasya Gyanan Ganashalakaya Chakchuramalitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yukta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunastam Vitam Tam Sanjivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitam Sya Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swami Namine Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Ashri Tatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tetariti Namine Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvese Sashunyavadi Pasachade Satarini Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum lagayate grim Yat Kripatamahan Vande Shri Gurudina Taranam Paramanam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Akandam Indalakram Yaptaina Characharam Tarpadam Dashitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Narayana Namaskritya Narachaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashta Prayesva Badresu Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So everyone is welcome to today's class. We are still on the Canto 3, which is the status quo, chapter 23, Devahuti's Lamentation. And we did up to chapter 12. Had some exercise. We have some exercise.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please, excuse me. Robert Nach. You're not part of this class. Please kindly go out of the class.
And this is a Bhakti Vaibhava class. I don't know. Is it a Bhakti Shastri student or just joining? So let me share the screen.
Samsung, sorry, Samsung. I don't know your name. Please, you're not part of this class. Okay, go ahead, Professor.
All right. You have to make me a co-host.
Yes, sorry.
So we had some group exercise that was distributed to the students. Group A to draw Kadamamuni's aerial mansion by going through verses 12 to 22. And group B, draw the bathing and the decorations of Newahuti by reading through 23 to 37. And group C, draw places visited in the aerial mansion by reading through text 39 and 43. And each group is supposed to make a presentation of their drawings, and then with some explanations to the class. So I don't know whether there's anyone who is ready with his group exercise. So is there any of the groups who are ready? I've not seen the other devotees. Rasavan Prabhu, Chitra Ketu Prabhu, Tamala Krishna Prabhu, Madhavan Prabhu. I've not seen them. I don't know whether they are they here?
They're not.
They're not aware that there's a class or what?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they were all aware that there's supposed to be class, but only Kamal Laksha Prabhu is here,
yeah.
and myself.
Well, it means that either they're not ready with the exercise, or some other things are taking them away. So what do we do with two people?
I'm sharing the YouTube online and on the platform of the group. I'm trying to contact work and contact, but I don't know if you want to go ahead with the two of us here.
Well, the other option is to cancel, but the more we cancel the classes, the more we're delaying the unit. Because we are supposed to finish this unit and then move on to the next unit. So last week we canceled the Saturday program because there weren't enough students. And so that has delayed us. We're supposed to have finished this chapter last week. Then we'll start a new chapter today. And because we canceled one day, we have to catch up with what we're supposed to do last week. And again, if we cancel today, then we are simply delaying ourselves from going forward. So I don't know. Now, do you have? Is your homework ready?
Actually, I didn't have that drawing because I'm a very bad person when it comes to drawing. I don't even know how to approach it. And I didn't want to. Sorry, I'm in a meeting. You can come if you want, you're around. Sorry, the call was distracting. So okay. I just couldn't figure it out, and I didn't want to get somebody to do it for me. That would be cheating. So
I think it's just a pictorial to create a picture in the mind. If you read text 12, it says,
okay, my assignment was actually 23 to 37, which I have carefully read. I've read the text and the purport, but drawing is what I couldn't just figure out how to do it.
Yeah. The group 1 is easy. Group 2 is not so easy. And group 3 is even more difficult. but it's just to kind of invoke your imagination. Drawing the bathing place, decorations of the Bhakti. So maybe some lake, water body with ladies. One lady seated and other ladies are decorating her. It's just to imprint in your mind, in your consciousness, how the Bhakti was decorated by the celestial ladies that were created by Kadarma Muni's yogic powers. And then read through the verses, you would be able to explain to the class. You cannot really have a comprehensive picture, but just a sketch to give an idea what is happening. So just a pictorial representation of the events that are taking place in this section pertaining to Devahoti and his wife. So the first one, to design a building, a 7-story building, is not very difficult. But to draw a bathing place, a decoration of Devahoti, is a bit difficult. And even to draw places visited in an aerial mansion, different locations in the universe, is even much more difficult. But it's just to test your imagination. So we expected the first group to do it very easily. And then the second group, which is your group, there will be some difficulty, but at least some representation must be there. And even the third group, it is much more difficult. But at least you just want to see how they can imagine traveling to different places of the universe. So it's like a tour of the universe when you go through the verses. So you have to create some scenes that depict those places. So in the absence of that, I don't know. And maybe we can just read through I'm sure the same reason why the other students are not coming, because either they could not draw or they did not even think about it at all. They didn't even consider the homework. And so since we're going to be asking people to make presentations, they
decide to run away from the class.
To run away from the class. But so anyway, what we'll do is that I think we'll just read through the section and create a mental picture. And then if they join later, okay. If they don't join, we would move on, because if we want to wait for them, then it means we are
we are already 23 minutes into the class. So
yeah. So
I don't see much of
a sign of their coming.
Yeah.
So we'll just read through. So text 13 says, Sarvakamandugam divyam sarvaratna samamvitam sarvardi upahachayodakam manistambai upaskritam. It was a wonderful structure, bedecked with all sorts of jewels, adorned with pillars of precious stones, and capable of yielding whatever one desired. It was equipped with every form of furniture and wealth, which tended to increase in the course of time. So it's amazing how Kadarma Muni is able to create a 7-story aerial mansion, which is floating in the air. So there are many things we can imagine from here. A 7-story mansion floating in the air, which is bedecked with all sorts of jewels, adorned with pillars of precious stones, capable of yielding whatever one desires, equipped with furniture, first-class furniture and wealth. And it is said here it is even increasing. So it means that yogis can counteract nature. With all these heavy pillars, heavy building, furniture, lakes of water, and so many other things, yet this building is floating in the air. So we can imagine the potency of the yoga perfection or the mystic yoga cities that Kadarma Muni had developed. He could create a whole building in the air with every facility in it. It's amazing. So in the Preparation of Papa writes, the castle created in the sky by Kadarma Muni may be called a castle in the air. But by his mystic power of yoga, Kadarma Muni actually constructed a huge castle in the air. To our feeble imagination, a castle in the sky is an impossibility. But if we scrutinizingly consider the matter, we can understand that it is not impossible at all. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead can create so many planets carrying millions of castles in the air, a perfect yogi like Kadarma Muni can easily construct one castle in the air. The castle is described as Sarva Karma Dugam, yielding whatever one desired, and was full of jewels. Even the pillars were made of pearls and valuable stones. These valuable jewels and stones were not subject to deterioration, but were everlastingly and increasingly opulent. We sometimes hear of castles that's bedecked on the surface of the earth also. The castles constructed by Lord Krishna for his 16,108 wives were so bedecked with jewels that there was no need of lamplight during the night. So it is amazing. It's very amazing that through the yogic cities, Kadarma Muni could create such an object which could fulfill all desires. So long as you're within that aerial mansion, whatever desire you had would be fulfilled. So it's amazing. But for a devotee, this shouldn't be seen as impossible, because Krishna is already doing that. Krishna is floating so many universes. Krishna is floating so many planets. And therefore, a devotee with the blessings of Krishna can also float and lease a small building, 7-mansion building in the air by Krishna's grace. So it is not impossible for Kadarma Muni to achieve such a fate. Kim alabhyam bhagavati prashane sriniketane. Anyone who is able to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, prashane, there is nothing impossible for him to achieve. So Kadarma Muni, by his yogic activities, by his yogic practice, he was able to attract Lord Narayan to his hermitage. And so it can be concluded that he satisfied the Lord, and that's why the Lord appeared before him. And so for one who has actually satisfied the Lord, there is nothing impossible. And that is the evidence we are having here. Now, because Kadarma Muni was able to please Lord Krishna, Lord Narayan, then he's able to perform such a feat without any difficulty. And 14 and 15, it says, Divyopakarino no pitam sarva kala sukavaham pati kabir pata kabir vichitra bir alankritam sragbir vichitra malya bir manju sinjat sat angribihi dukala shoma kasho yai nana vastrai virajitam. The castle was fully equipped with all necessary paraphernalia and was pleasing in all seasons. It was decorated all around with flags, festoons, and artistic work of variegated colors. It was further embellished with wreaths of charming flowers that attracted sweetly humming bees, and with tapestries of linen, silk, and various other fabrics. So, further description of the mansion of Kandaramuni is given here. It was a castle equipped with all necessary paraphernalia, and it was pleasing in all seasons. That means when it's hot, it becomes cool, and when it's cold, it becomes warm. That means naturally the internal environment was controlled by the same mystic yoga. The internal environment of this mansion was controlled so much so that it naturally takes care. If it is too hot, it will bring in some air conditioning. And if it is too cold, he brings in some warmth, some warm air. So it's amazing. And then it's also decorated along with flags, festoons, artistic work of variegated colors. It is embellished with wreaths of charming flowers that attracted humming bees, with tapestries of linen, silk, and various other fabrics. So it's opulently decorated. We can imagine the 7-story building with festoons and flags and tapestries all around. Even up to today, when there is a program, when there's a festival, the place is so much decorated with flags, with festoons, with balloons and whatnots to make the place look festive. So Kandaramuni, he did not only build a mansion, he also decorated it according to his tastes and the taste of Devahuti. So Kandaramuni is just demonstrating here his yogic powers. So we can also understand that these yogic powers are superior to ordinary physical strength. By ordinary physical strength, it will be difficult to build an aerial mansion flying in the air, because the laws of gravity will not allow anything to float, anything of such weight to float in the air. But Kandaramuni, due to his yoga siddhis, is able to float such a building in the sky. I think somebody can read text 16. Okay, I think Rasavan Prabhu is here. So, Prabhuji, are you for number 1, group A, Rasavan Prabhu? Do you have something to present, or we should continue with the reading?
We have not passed this, the presentation, so you have still time.
So I have something to present, or we should continue with the reading?
You are muted, Prabhu, you are muted.
Since we are almost done within my chapter verses with the reading, let me finish the reading, then I present something small.
You have got some diagram?
Yes.
All right, so let me finish. We'll finish it. We are on
There's number 16.
16. So
16 says, O pare viyasta, Nila Yeshu Pritak Pritak Shiptai Kasipu Bikantam Pariyanka Vyajana Sanai. The palace looked charming with beds, couches, fans, and seats, all separately arranged in 7 stories.
Yeah, so the purpose says, it is understood from this verse that the castle had many stories. The words opari, opari, vinyasta indicate skyscrapers are not newly invented. Even in those days, millions of years ago, the idea of building many-story houses was current. They contained not merely 1 or 2 rooms, but many different apartments, and each was completely decorated with cushions, bedsteads, sitting places, and carpets. Even we don't have it today. We don't have such arrangement today.
It's a fact.
Yeah, we don't have it. They tried this Air Force One, the American presidential plane. They say it has it's a flying house. It has a conference room. It has a bedroom. It has a dining hall. It has a kitchen. It has a place to bath and dress up. So when the president is in that flight, he's as good as at home. He can take his bath anytime he wants. He can go to bed anytime he wants. He can have a conference, and the plane is so designed that he can be having conference call with his secretaries or ministers, even in the air. He can contact anybody anywhere in the world, and they can have a video conference. They can have some discussion. So there is some little semblance of such a thing, but this is colossal. This is colossal. 7 stories with bedsteads, with cushions, sitting places, with carpets, with lakes. It's just unimaginable. Millions of years ago is not today. It's not in Kali Yuga. Millions and millions of years ago, the Kadaraba Muni, he's greater than the greatest scientist. That's what it means. Kadaraba Muni is greater than the greatest scientist. Science have not yet come up to the level that Kadaraba Muni displayed his yogi powers. So sometimes people who are not informed, who have no knowledge, they think what is happening now is something new. It's nothing new at all. Whatever is being done is even comparatively small, So from these pages of the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can understand that ages ago, people were really advanced, and they don't need to go to a factory to create these things, just from their mind. Such strong mental power, such great mental abilities. Just by desiring it, it manifested. For a scientist to create an aeroplane, so many things are involved, so much. They have to get metal from somewhere, they have to get uranium from somewhere, they have to get nickel from somewhere, they have to get so many things from different places. They have to assemble. There is a whole factory, airplane manufacturing factory. So many workers are involved. So many designers are involved. So many engineers are involved. So much. But in this case, Kadarma Muni single-handedly, without an effort, created this 7-story flying mansion. It's like a city. Different rooms, different facilities, amazing. And it is said that the facilities are just increasing. So we cannot compare the yoga cities to the scientific development that we are experiencing today. They constitute very, very minute aspect of the yogic cities, which is being displayed here by Kadamuni. In the Mahabharata also, it is mentioned when Vishwamrita wanted to send his disciple Trisanku to the heavenly planet, and the demigods would not agree. They said Trisanku was too sinful to enter heaven, so they won't allow him. But Vishwamrita was very stubborn. He said, once the king had taken shelter of him, he must enter heaven. So he started to use his austerity, the power of austerity to elevate King Trisanku into the heavens. And then the demigod, they push Trisanku back from the heavens. And he was falling with his head towards the earth. And he began to shout, Vishwamrita, Vishwamrita, save me, save me. So Vishwamrita became angry with the demigods. And what did he do? He created his own heavenly planets. Vishwamrita, he created his own heavenly planets and put King Trisanku there. He said, well, if you not allow my disciple to enter your heavens, keep your heavens. I don't need it. He created his own heavenly planet and put his disciple there. So this shows the greatness of yoga siddhis. They're far superior to any scientific brains, scientific inventions in this world. Because no matter how advanced sciences, they have not gotten to the stage whereby they can build a 7-story mansion floating in the air. No matter how advanced science is, they've not been able to create a heavenly planet floating in space. So from these things, we can see that the yogi powers are much superior to any scientific inventions that we are experiencing in this world.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I was just having the reflections as you were explaining this test and the powers of the sages in the days of yore.
Yeah.
And looking at our modern times, we see that a wealthy man, without so much of effort, just sent, in fact, it's even become more sophisticated now. Just by pressing some button on his phone, he can buy a whole mansion. And I'm looking at, we buy a big car, and our children, very young children, they sit down in the courtyard and they want to build a car like their own father's own. And they stay there sweating, they're struggling so hard for a car that will not move them anywhere.
Okay.
And in most cases, they cannot even produce the car. Sometimes they build we all grew up like that. We try to build a similar house to what we looked as our house. We try to build a house with the sand. And we spend so much hours struggle to build a house that we cannot actually live inside.
Go inside.
So looking at the age of Kali, looking at the previous ages, and what these sages can do and what is possible in those ages. I just wonder, this age of Kali, what is supposed to be? Is there any need for anyone to engage in any? I'm looking at the continuity of material existence and all of the struggle to develop. It doesn't even look like a kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, because you're in knowledge. That's why you're thinking like this and speaking like this. If you speak like this in a scientific forum, they would they'll write you off. So because they have no knowledge, they think they're doing something great. They think they're discovering so many wonderful things. And because the whole world is ignorant, when some little thing is discovered, they're also excited. But even our modern communications, we're in a technology age. Our modern communication systems that we have, we are so happy about it. But they had a better, more sophisticated communication system before this. When Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die in 7 days, and he decided to fast till death, there were no mobile phones. There was no telegram, telephones, whatever, telex. Those were not there. But instantly, message was sent across the whole universe. Instantly, news was sent across the whole universe. And from different planets, different personalities descended to witness the departure of the king. It is said that there was an assembly of great sages, munis, rishis, demigods, yogis, all kinds of personalities assembled on the banks of the Yamuna, banks of the Ganges, to witness the departure of Parikshit Maharaj. So the question is, how did they get that information? What was the means of communication at that time? It means there was a much more subtler, refined system of transmission of information than what we have today. So, as you're saying, in previous ages, things were more refined, things were more subtle than today. Today, our attempt is gross. In the ages of yore, it was much more a mental ability, mental power. And that is what the yogis, sages, and rishis, that is the skills they develop, not physical skills, not technical skills. They develop mental skills. And once you have these mental skills, you can create anything. So, but because that knowledge is not known to the general public, once they're able to create something good, people applaud it, people are happy with it. But for devotees who are studying Srimad Bhagavatam, and we know that these things existed, even in a much grandeur manner, we are not excited when they create some small machine. We're not. Even in the heavenly planet, they have much more sophisticated machines than we have on this earth planet. So what we are saying is right. But those without knowledge, they're excited when something small is created. Just like children playing at the seashore, they're building houses with sand. But as soon as the waves come, it will smash it. When we're children, we all try to create our own vehicles. We pack empty tins, empty milk tins, and we create vehicles out of them. But you cannot even ride inside those vehicles. When you're hungry, you just throw those things away and run home to look for food. So we are like children. Whatever we are trying to discover, invent, it's just child's play. Because Kandarma Muni, in 1 second, he created a 7-story mansion, floating in the air, fully equipped with swimming pools, with bedrooms, with such beautiful decoration. Similarly, Vishamrita, within 1 second, he created a heavenly planet to keep his disciples Trisanku there. So how can you compare such a feat with these small things that have been achieved by scientists in this world? So that is true. But once people are ignorant, people have no information, it is something very wonderful to have a telephone, to have a handset, to speak to somebody in America while you are in Africa, and so on. But before this time, there were means of communication. We've lost contact. We've lost that ability. We cannot even think about it, but it was there. There was a means of communication, which was much finer than this our gross physical communications that we have today.
Thank you very much for this.
Yeah,
thank you very much for the explanation. I'm sorry, my video will be off for some few minutes.
Okay.
I had to attend to something very urgent, but
No
I'm here.
problem. We are on. So the next verse is 17. 17. Somebody like to read 17?
Okay, let me take it.
Okay.
Tatra vinik shipta rana sinopo pasobitam mahamara katastala justam vidruma vedibi. Its beauty was enhanced by artistic engravings here and there on the walls. The floor was emerald with coral dices.
Wow. So the purpose is, at the present moment, people are very proud of their architectural art, yet floors are generally decorated with colored cement. It appears, however, that the castle constructed by the yogi powers of Kadarmamuni had floors of emerald with coral dices. So just see the difference. Just see the comparison. Our floors, we put cement, at best tiles, porcelain tiles, at best, or marble, or granite. Those are the expensive tiling materials, floor tiling materials. But in the case of Kadarmamuni, his floors were emeralds. Emeralds, a special stone. Even to get an emerald, a piece of emerald for a ring is so expensive. If you get pure emerald, it's very expensive. But the whole floor, 7 floors of the mansion was made of emeralds, and then with coral dices. Dices means some raised points where people can stand and talk or sit. So that shows how special that building is. And that shows that the degree of wealth, the degree of opulence that was demonstrated by Kadarmamuni. His building was just out of the blue. And he did not go to any marketplace to buy these things. He did not bring in some architects to design the building. He did not bring in some civil engineers to construct. Just 1 second from his mind, he created. So mental power is so great. In fact, this mind that we have is a great resource center. A mind can create anything, but we are not actually tapping the resources of the mind. In fact, it is said that we use 10%. Even with all the scientific developments, inventions, humanity is using only 10% of the power of the mind, of the resources of the mind. So if you compare to what Kandarma Muni has displayed here, then we can see it's true. 1 second, he created a 7-story mansion floating in the air from his mind. So mind is so powerful. Mind is superior to the senses. Mind is superior to the body. Only the intelligence is superior to the mind. And of course, the false ego is superior to the intelligence. And then the soul is superior to all. But the mental power, the mental energy, and we can unlock it. And we can unlock it. It will be amazing. But to unlock that mental energy means discipline. If the mind is not disciplined, you cannot unlock the mental energies. Actually, we can create with our minds. We can do many things with our minds, but because the mind is not disciplined, the mind is conditioned. It has become very, very much limited because we are so attracted to the external, to matter. So the mind has limited itself to matter. The mind can do much more. You know, there is this devotee, Narasingha Brahmachari, Narasingananda Brahmachari. He was a disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to travel to Vrindavan, Narasingananda Brahmachari, he visualized the journey of Lord Chaitanya. And he, from his mental extension, he saw that Lord Chaitanya did not get to Vrindavan. He created a path, a mental path for Lord Chaitanya to walk on. And then Lord Chaitanya did not go to Vrindavan. So Narasingananda Brahmachari, he was telling devotees that this journey embarked on by the Lord, he will not get to Vrindavan this time. Because from his mind, he extended his mind. He created a road, he created a path with his mind for the Lord to go to Vrindavan, but he got to a point, there was a block. So from there he understood that the Lord's journey to Vrindavan will not be successful. And actually it happened. Lord Chaitanya went to Vanacari with a big crowd, thousands of people following him. So when he got to Vanacari, that is the home of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. When they saw this big crowd, they advised Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They said, my dear Lord, going to Vrindavan with such a crowd is a disturbance. Better you go back. And at another time, you go alone. So we can see many things happening. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they are already devotees waiting for Lord Chaitanya. They're actually associates of Lord Chaitanya. They are waiting for him. Otherwise, why would Lord Chaitanya listen to them? Otherwise, why would they be giving Lord Chaitanya such an advice? Immediately, Lord Chaitanya accepted the advice from Rupa and Sanatana. And so he terminated his journey to Vrindavan. He returned to Puri. So Narasingananda Brahmachari had already seen from his mind, from the strength of his mind, then Lord Chaitanya's journey to Vrindavan will not be complete. He will not go to Vrindavan at that time. And it actually happened. From Ramakeli, the Lord returned to Puri. So that is the power of the mind. The mind is so powerful that we can do many things with the mind. But because it's not controlled, because it's not disciplined, it limits us. And the example is here. Kandarma Muni has created such a wonderful thing. Prabhu, your hand is up. You have a question or a contribution?
Yes, Mara, thank you very much. I was just saying that on the share screen is that group exercise is not making your face to show fully on the internet. So in case you are not using it now, you can remove it, Maharaj.
Okay, all right. I think it's something we have shared already, so it's not really needed. So I can stop the screen, sharing the screen.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, all glories to
Hare
you.
Krishna, Kamalaksha Prabhu, nice to see you.
Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to you.
All glories to Gurudev.
Please, Maharaj,
Yeah.
when you were explaining, you give a story of Vishwamitra and King Trishanku. Please,
Yeah.
Maharaj, where can this story be found?
It's found in the Ramayana. Yeah, in the Ramayana, you find the story of King Trisanku and Vishwamitra. Trisanku was a very sinful king, and he took shelter of Vishwamitra. And Vishwamitra, he wanted to go to heaven without piety, just like Ravana. Ravana was building a staircase to the spiritual world. So Trisanku was a very sinful man, but he did not want to go through the normal procedure. He wanted to go to heaven by all means, but he was very sinful. And so he was performing a yagya. And yagya, so that by the performance of yagya, he will rise into heaven. And the persons he engaged was the disciples of Vishwamitra. Actually, this king had gone to invite Vashista Muni, and Vashista Muni refused because he was a very sinful man. So Vashista Muni refused. But Vashista Muni and Vishwamitra, they're like enemies. So when Vashista Muni told his children or his disciples not to go and do the yagya for Trisanku, Trisanku went to Vishwamitra. And when Vishwamitra heard that Vashista Muni had discouraged his disciples from doing the yagya for Trisanku, he said, all right, I'll do it for you. And whatever you want to achieve, you achieve it. So he also sent his disciples to do the yagya, and he came to supervise it. And so by his austerity, he was able to lift Trisanku into the heavens. But then there was a problem. The demigod said, no. This king is very sinful. He doesn't deserve to be here. He has no qualification to be here. The heavenly planet is for pious people. This king is too impious. He cannot come here. So they pushed Trisanku back, and he was falling with his head down. And he began to shout, Vishwamrita, Vishwamrita. Then Vishwamrita said, stop there. Stop there. And he began to create his own heavenly planets. So the demigods, they had to enter into an agreement with Vishwamrita. So it is said that they asked him, okay, do not create your own heavenly planets, but we'll leave your disciple hanging there. So it is said that King Trisanku is still hanging up there. He's still hanging up there. Because the Vishwamitra had to enter into agreement with the demigods. Otherwise, he was going to create his own universe, create his own heavenly planets for his disciples. But the demigod said, no, that's not good. You want to duplicate the effort of the Brahma. No, don't do that. So he said, all right, then you leave my disciple where he is. And they said, okay, we leave him there. So Trisanku is hanging there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that vein, that is another prowess of yogic power and perfection.
That's right.
Because,
that's right. Yes. That's why I cited an example that Vishamrita is so great. He has that mystic ability. He can create his own universe. He can create his own universe. And so that is the power of the mind. There's the power of the mind. The mind can create anything, but it has to be disciplined.
Yes.
Yeah. Even our own mind, because you see the mind is a substance. The mind is an energy. It's Krishna's inferior energy. We are only taking a bit of it. A bit of it is given to each and every one of us. But it belongs to that energy of Krishna, that inferior energy of Krishna. Bhumi apona lova yukam mano buddhi ivacha. It belongs to that energy. So it has no limit also, so to speak. And so it can be extended unlimitedly. So by discipline, the yogis are able to explore the unlimited powers of the mind. All right, so we go on to text 18. 18 says, Dwashu vriduma dehalia batam vrajra kapatavat shikareshu indra nilesu hema kumbai adeshritam. The palace was very beautiful, with its coral thresholds at the entrances and its doors bedecked with diamonds. Gold pinnacles crown its domes of sapphire. So the opulence of this building cannot be conceived. The entrances, the thresholds at the entrances are made of corals. Coral is a special stone. It's a very special stone that even to get a coral ring is very expensive. If you want a natural coral, it's very expensive. But Kadara Muni have them at the entrance of his mansion, at the thresholds, at the entrances. And the doors were bedecked with diamonds. To get a small diamond ring is thousands of dollars. But the doors were all bedecked with diamond rings. And then the pinnacles of the domes, there are domes of sapphire. On top of the building, there are domes made of sapphire. And at the pinnacle, the extreme end, we have golden pinnacles, golden crowns on the pinnacles. So it's just a completely opulent mansion, flying mansion, completely opulent. And how did it happen? Mental ability of Kadara Muni. So from these descriptions, we can begin to understand the power of the mind. The power of the mind. Somebody can read text 19.
Text 19.
Yeah.
Chakshusmat Padma Saga Griya Vajra Vite Sunimita Josta Vishudra Vitanai Mahahai Masoranai. with the choicest rubies set in its diamond walls. It appeared as though possessed of eyes. It was furnished with wonderful canopies and greatly valuable gates of gold.
Thank you. So here, Prabhupada writes, artistic jewelry and decorations giving the appearance of eyes are not imaginary. Even in recent times, the Mongol emperors constructed their palaces with decorations of jeweled birds with eyes made of valuable stones. The stones have been taken away by the authorities, but the decorations are still present in some of the castles constructed by the Mongol emperors in New Delhi. The royal palaces were built with jewels and rare stones resembling eyes, and thus at night they will give off reflective light without need of lamps. So these are some of the opulences of Asian culture. These are opulences of the Vedic age that just by having some specific jewels embedded in the building, in the pillars, in particular places, these jewels would provide light. In Dwaraka, in Krishna's 16,108 palaces, there was no electricity, no generators. There was no sound of any form of, power. Just by placing these jewels, diamonds and emeralds and different jewels were placed in the rooms, decorated the walls, decorated the pillars, and at night, these jewels would provide light. At night was merely turned into a day by the jewels in these pillars and the walls. So in the absence of that, we have to create electricity, we have to create generators, we have to create some source of power. So in ancient times, people use these gems to create light. But now we have to depend on electricity. We have to depend on generators. They've introduced the solar lights. We have to depend on solar lights. But in days of yore, they had a different technology of producing light without strenuous effort. So Prabhupada is mentioning here, even in New Delhi, the Mongols emperors, the castles were decorated with some of these rare stones resembling eyes. And those rare stones will give off reflective light at night without a need of lamps. So these are the opulences of the bygone ages. And because these opulences are no more here today, we have to depend on electricity, generators, and so forth. Text 20. Somebody like to read 20?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So read text 20.
Yes. Amsa Parabhata Vratas Tatra Nikunjitam Kritimam Mayam Naiva Swam Adiruya Cha. Translation. Here and there, in that palace were multitudes of live swans and pigeons, as well as artificial swans and pigeons, so lifelike that the raised swans rose above them again and again, thinking them live birds like themselves. Thus the palace vibrated with the sounds of these birds.
Wonderful. So Kadaramuni was able to create both decorative birds and live birds, pigeons and swans in that palace. So there were decorative birds that were not live. They were not alive, but just for decorations in different places. But he also had the live ones who were moving, flying up and down. And even the live ones were confused. They could not differentiate the decorative ones from the live ones, like that. So these are all the opulences of palace created by Kadarma Muni. Text 21 says, Viharastana Vishrama Samvesha Pragana Jirai Yato Pajosham Rachitai Vishma Panam Ivad Manaha. The castle had pleasure grounds, resting chambers, bedrooms, and inner and outer yards designed with an eye to comfort. All this caused astonishment to the sage himself. So the sage is even surprised. The sage is surprised with the display of his mystical potencies. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, Kadarma Muni, being a saintly person, was living in a humble hermitage. But when he saw the palace constructed by his yogi powers, which was full of resting rooms, rooms for sex enjoyment, and inner and outer yards, he himself was astonished. That is the way of God-gifted persons. A devotee like Kadarma Muni exhibited such opulence by his yogi power at the request of his wife. But when the opulence was produced, he himself could not understand how such manifestations could be possible. When a yogi's power is exhibited, the yogi himself is sometimes astonished. So, Kadarma Muni is amazed by his own powers. He's surprised how this is happening. Is wondering whether it is he who is manifesting these things or somebody else. But as Prabhupada explains here, that this is the way of a God-gifted person. A devotee like Kadarma Muni exhibited such opulence by his yogi power at the request of his wife. But when the opulence was produced, he himself could not understand how such manifestations could be possible. So the living entity has such potency because the living entity is part and parcel of the unlimitedly potent Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the living entity is part and parcel of Krishna, who is unlimitedly potent. The living entity also possesses some potency, and the living entity can display these potencies, though in a limited way. Krishna is floating universes, Krishna is floating planets. So the living entity can also float a mansion. The living entity can also float an airplane. The living entity can float a rocket, because the floating ability belongs to the Lord. But because we are part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna also endows the living entity with some potency. And with that potency, the living entity can also demonstrate his ability to do something. So, but sometimes the achievement is so great that the living entities marveled, his surprise of his abilities. So Kadarma Muni is surprised to witness such a great manifestation of his yogic powers. Of course, Lord Krishna tells us that there are 18 yogic, mystic yogi perfections. There are 18. 8 are the primary yogi perfections. And these 8 yogi perfections, primary yogi perfections, they take shelter in the Lord. They're fully manifested in the Lord. Actually, Krishna is called Yogeshwara because he is the master of all these yogic powers. And he can do anything and everything because these yogic powers are his energies. But a living entity can also, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, display what is called secondary yogic powers. Secondary yogic powers. The primary yogic powers, which are 8, they take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the other 8 and the other 10 yogic powers, which are considered secondary, can be developed by any living entity who is practicing the mode of goodness. So these secondary yogic powers can be developed from the mode of goodness. And that is why yogis, rishis, munis, because their lifestyle is that of the mode of goodness, they're able to develop all these mystic powers, the 10 secondary mystic powers. So we can say there are gifts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything actually is a gift. Yogi powers are gifts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mental abilities are gifts. Intellectual abilities are gifts. Material nature is a gift. And everything practically is coming from the Lord, is a gift from the Lord. And so a devotee, understanding that these gifts are coming from Krishna, he uses these gifts in the service of Krishna. And that is the perfection of life. When we are able to dovetail everything in the service of Krishna, then that is the perfection. So anyway, Kadarma Muni is able to display his yogi powers so wonderfully that he himself is bewildered. And then the verse 22 says, Idrigriham tat prashyantim nati prite nachetasaha sarva bhutasaya vigyaha pravochat kadama swayam. When he saw Devahuti looking at the gigantic opulent palace with a displeased heart, Kadarma Muni could understand her feelings because he could study the heart of anyone. Thus, he personally addressed his wife as follows. The purpose says Devahuti had spent a long time in the hermitage, not taking much care of her body. She was covered with dirt, and her clothing was not very nice. Kadarma Muni was surprised that he could produce such a palace, and similarly his wife. Devahuti was also astonished. How could she live in that opulent palace? Kadarma Muni could understand her astonishment, and thus he spoke as follows. So when Devahuti saw this great mansion in the air, he was thunderstruck. Besides, she was a simple wife of a forest dweller, of a hermit. So her lifestyle was completely that of austerity. She was having dreadlocks. She was wearing 3 bags. She was not even taking her bath on a regular basis. There was a pile of dirt on her body. And now standing there is a palatial building for her to enter because she had requested her husband to give her children. So the husband had to create a suitable environment. And now it is a surprise to both the wife and the husband. So Kadamuni could understand the mind of the wife. And it's mentioned here that Kadamuni could understand her feelings because he could study the heart of anyone. That is another aspect of the uplands of these great yogis, great devotees. They can understand the mind, they can understand the heart of every living entity because they are connected to the super soul. And the super soul supplies all the information that they need. So therefore, Kadar Muni could understand what was going on in the mind of his chaste wife, Devahuti. And so from the verse 23, Devahuti is being addressed by her husband. So we are finished with the first part of the exercise. And Rasavan Prabhu said he has some sketch to show us as part of his homework. So let us see what he has for us.
Okay.
You may have,
I don't know.
you have to show it ahead. That's right. That's the way.
Okay. Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the earthly planets. And then the top side represents the floating castle created by Kadabamuni with the wife, the Vahuti, many servants, beautiful servants serving her, and with Kadabamuni on board.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I am in a class. I will call you back right after the class.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hey, should I WhatsApp you?
Yeah, please WhatsApp me. Yes, WhatsApp. I'm in a class right now.
Okay. I'll WhatsApp you the message that I have.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, from some.
Yes, like I was explaining in my sketch.
Yeah.
This is the Earth planet where Kadamuni was living, performing his yogic practices with the Vahuti.
Yeah.
And then the top part is the floating car.
Yeah. That is freezing. The internet is freezing. Hare Krishna. His internet is freezing.
Ariksha Maharaj,
Hare Krishna.
maybe it's great. Rasavan Prabhu can scan it and tomorrow and show us in a soft copy.
Okay.
If it's put into scan, it's easy to share on the screen. Then we can see it and it can explain more better.
Okay. It's not even. I think it's frozen. His internet is frozen.
Yeah, I'm telling you so that when he comes back, you can tell him, Prabhu, please scan it. Then next week you can show us in soft copy. It's a very nice picture he's trying to show.
Yes. He has done well. It's good. Done well.
He must be a very great artist.
You say?
He must be a very great artist.
Yeah, he's an artist. And from his handwriting, you see there's an artist. We identify the artists by their handwritings. It's a natural thing that comes out of them. It's an artist. He writes very beautifully. He writes the verses on the blackboard so beautifully. So I'm not surprised. It's an artist, national artist. Anyway, I think his internet is giving him trouble, so he's gone off. So we have 23 to, is it 32? (23 to 32, I guess.
37.
23 to 37?
Yes, please.
Okay. So who are those in charge of that section? Do they have something to present? Otherwise, we'll continue reading if you have nothing to present. But if you have something to present, then no problem. We can listen. So who are those in charge of 23 to 37? We share it among the students. I think that is Salik Prabhu. And I said he could co-op any other student that was not present in the class to join him. And he said, he said it was difficult for him to imagine drawing Devahuti with the Salesian ladies bathing her and decorating her and all that. He said it was difficult for him to design. So I think it doesn't have any picture to show. So without wasting time, we can proceed. We can proceed with the rest of the discussion so that it's 10:34. We have 26 minutes to go. So we'll continue to read text 23 says, Nimba Jasmin Rade Biru Vimanam Idam Aruha Idam Shuka Kritam Tirtam Ashisham Yapakam Nirinam. My dear Devahuti, you look very much afraid. First, bathe in Lake Bindu Sarovar, created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all the desires of a human being, and then mount this airplane. So in the purpose of Prabhupada says, it is still the system to go to places of pilgrimage and take a bath in the water there. In Vrindavan, the people take bath in the river Yamuna. In other places such as Prayag, they take bath in the river Ganga. The words Tietam, Asisham, Yapakam refer to the fulfillment of desires by bathing in a place of pilgrimage. Kadarma Muni advised his good wife to bathe in Lake Bindu Sarovar so that she could revive the former beauty and luster of her body. So, taking bath in holy places is still very current in India. If you go to holy places, you see people trooping in like Mayapur. People are coming all over to take bath in Mayapur. If you go to Prayag, you see a lot of people coming there to take bath. You go to Vrindavan, a lot of people are coming in cars. Vrindavan has become very, very busy. In the 80s, you hardly see cars in Vrindavan. Tangas and their three-wheelers were the common vehicles. Today, Vrindavan's traffic is just unbelievable. So many buses are coming with passengers, with pilgrims, so many cars. So the place is so busy that they have to create, now I think they've created one-way traffic in some areas just to regulate and control the traffic. So, and many of those people coming, they want to take a bath in the Yamuna. So it's a practice from time immemorial that when one goes to a holy place, he has to dip himself in the holy waters. So here, Devahuti has been asked by the husband to take a bath in the Bindu Sarovar. The Bindu Sarovar is a special place that was created by Lord Vishnu himself, which can grant all desires of a human being. And it said that when Lord Vishnu, he saw Kadarma Muni, he felt so much compassion for the sage that he shed tears of love. And those tears created the Bindu Sarovar. So that Bindu Sarovar is a very special place. And so Kadarma Muni is asking his wife to take a bath in that Bindu Sarovar so that she can recover her beauty, her original beauty. Because of the austerity she had been performing, she had lost a lot of her original beauty. And so the husband is instructing her to take a bath in the Bindu Sarovar to recover herself from the emaciation. She was completely emaciated due to the austerities. But by taking bath in such a holy place, she would immediately recover her normal form. So we go to text 24.
Yeah,
Text 24. Somebody wants to read text 24. Text 24. Somebody wants to read text 24.
Yes, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Satad Batu Samadaya Vacha Kubalaye Shana Sarajambi Brati Vasho Veni Bhutamsta Mudajan. Translation. The lotus-eyed Devahuti accepted the order of her husband. Because of her dirty dress and the locks of matted hair on her head, she did not look very attractive.
Thank you. So, Prabhupada, right, it appears that Devahuti's hair had remained uncombed for many years and had become complicated in tangles. In other words, she neglected her bodily dress and comforts to engage in the service of her husband. So we can picture the difficulties that Devahuti is going through in the forest with her saintly husband. Devahuti came from the palace. He came from the city. She was a palace girl of comfort, of luxuries, and she was brought to the forest to be married to a sage. So immediately, she had to give up her luxury life and adopt or adjust to the lifestyle of her saintly husband. So here, they said here she had locks of matted hair and she was dressed in a tree bark. She was not dressed in sari or some beautiful dress, no. She was wearing tree barks with matted hair. So she didn't look attractive in such a dress. So this is because she neglected the care of her body. She neglected the comforts of the body just because she wanted to remain a loyal servant of the husband. So the Vedic instruction, the Vedic tradition is that the wife must adopt the circumstances of the husband, even if he comes from a very high class, a very opulent background. But if she marries a poor Brahmana, she must adopt to the circumstances of the husband. So Devahuti is an example of a very exalted woman coming from the palace, coming from a very, very comfortable home, but now she has to lead a life of austerity, and now she looks different with matted hair, body very dirty, wearing the barks of a tree, like Sita also did. Sita also, in the forest, she also wore barks on the tree just to satisfy Lord Ram. So that should be the mood of a wife. He takes after the husband's circumstances. And in this way, there will not be any disagreement between them. But if the wife does not want to follow the husband, the wife does not want to adopt the circumstances of the husband, and she begins to demand certain things that are not available, then it will not create a happy home. It will just be a tension home, a home full of a lot of tension. But in the case of Devahuti, she adjusted to the circumstances around the husband, and so they live very peacefully. And the result is that now the husband wants to please her. The husband wants to satisfy her. And because he has sacrificed so much for the husband is just rewarding her with such an opulence, great opulence. So that is reciprocal, because the wife sacrificed for the husband had to fulfill the wife's desire. The husband had to reciprocate with the wife. So that is what is happening here. Though Devahuti is surprised to see this great mansion, she had forgotten entirely about city life, opulent life, and all of a sudden, from the blues, a very opulent building is flying in the air, meant for her comfort. So she's a bit surprised. Verse 25 says, Angam chamala pakena pamkena sanchanam sabalastanam avivesha saraswatya sarashiva jalashayam. Her body was coated with a thick layer of dirt, and her breasts were discolored. She dove, however, into the lake, which contained the sacred waters of Saraswati. So Devahuti's body, the dirt on her body is described here. Her body was coated with thick layers of dirt. For years, she has not taken a proper bath, and her breasts were all discolored. But having been given the orders by the husband, she dove deep into the waters of the sacred Saraswati river.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I'm going to show you Maharaj.
Yeah,
you just explained that the Bindu Sarovara is a collection of tears from the eyes of Lord Vishnu. And now this text is saying that is waters of the Saraswati. How do we marry these two together?
Yes, the Bindu Sarovar is connected to the Saraswati. The Bindu Sarovar, you see, is described Rishikulas. Rishikulas, normally the sages, they live on the banks of rivers. And even if you go to the Himalayas, you see that many of these Rishikulas, the homes of the rishis, they are very close to the Ganga and the Yamuna, because they take baths several times a day. They drink some of the water of the holy rivers. So they live near rivers. So the Rishikulas of Kadarma Muni was on the banks of the Saraswati. But there is a lake. Yeah, there is a lake which is called the Bindu Sarovar. And in that lake, that lake was created by Lord Vishnu when he came to visit Kandarma Muni, and he was so touched by the austerities, devotional service, and all the devotional activities of Kandarma Muni. The Lord, out of affection, shed tears, and those tears created the Bindu Sarovar, which is connected to the Saraswati River. So they are all connected. It's like a lake connected to a river. So if a lake is connected to a river, you can say, take bath in the lake. I can also say, take bath in the river, because they're connected.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So text 26 says, Santa Sarasi Vishma Staha Shatani Dasa Kanyakaha Sarva Kishorya Vayaso Dadarsho Patla Gannayaha. In a house inside the lake, she saw 1,000 girls, all in the prime of youth and fragrant like lotuses. So Kadarma Muni has not only created the flying mansion, he also created 1,000 celestial ladies within the lake. Or maybe I'm coming. I think, let's see the next verse. Is it in a lake or it's in a house inside the lake? Yeah, it's inside the lake. Inside the Bindu Sarovar, Kadarma Muni had created a house inside the lake. And there were 1,000 celestial ladies inside that house within the lake. So these are still the opulences of Kadarma Muni. Besides the palatial, 7-story palatial building he had created, which is situated in the sky, he had also created another facility inside the lake, Lake Bindu Sarovar. When the wife dove into the river, she found herself inside a house, surrounded by 1,000 celestial ladies. Text 27 says, Tam Drishtra Sahashotaya Kruchor Prajanaya Striya Payam Karma Karish Tubyam Shadi Na Karavama Kim. Seeing her, the damsels suddenly rose and said with folded hands, "We are your maidservants. tell us what we can do for you. So Prabhupada writes, while Devahuti was thinking of what to do in that great palace in her dirty clothes, there were at once, by the yogic powers of Kadarma Muni, 1,000 maidservants prepared to serve her. They appeared before Devahuti within the water and presented themselves as a maidservants, simply awaiting her orders. It's amazing. It's amazing what yogis can do. It's amazing. He is able to create a house within the water. And not only that, he's able to create damsels, 1,000 damsels, just to serve the wife. It's amazing. It's amazing. What is yogis can do. They are miniature gods, actually. They are miniature gods because they can create with their minds. They can create things we can imagine, you know. Even Dhruva Maharaj, as small as he was, just 5-year-old boy, but when he was able to control his mind, control his senses, he became so powerful that he could choke the whole universe breathing process. Dhruva Maharaj choked the whole universe breathing process. The demigods couldn't breathe. No one could breathe. A small boy. So they had to appeal to Brahma, please go. Somebody is disturbing the universe. When Brahma had to run to Vishnu, please, my dear Lord, you must do something. This little boy wants to choke everybody in the universe. So Lord Vishnu had to go and stop Dhruva from his austerities. So it's amazing the power the living entity has, but we are not using them because we have limited ourselves to the physical world. We have limited ourselves to the pleasures of the senses. And so we are limited in so many ways. But here we can just have a glimpse of what a yogi can do. Creating a flying mansion, creating a house in the water, creating 1,000 celestial ladies. It's amazing. It's just incomprehensible. It's unbelievable. But it's happening right here in these pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Shukadeva Goswami is not just telling us some fantasy. It's not some imagination. It really happened. Shukadeva Goswami is not a fairy tale teller. He is speaking facts. So what is being described here actually happened.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Jai, jai, jai.
Hare Krishna.
Is that Sarora? I've been to Sarora on your back or what?
This is Bindu Sarubara at my back. In books. Oh, we are practicing small yogism. Maharaj, this thing is Kadamba Muni was a yogi and he performed so much of austerities. We are also devotional yogis and we've been performing all kinds of austerities for many years, at least more than 35 years, some of us. So at least in Kali Yuga, we are yogis to a considerable level. And when Kadamba Muni wanted to enter household life and he entered, he was able to manifest area mansion. And now we are entering household life. Our matatis are leaving us because we don't have money. And we have desire to also manifest some opulence that at least can, at least can contain them. Basic opulence. Basic ones, even 9 chairs in our rooms. Yet we have the desire. Why is it that this thing is not translating into its, physical equivalent? Since the desire is there, why? Even after desire, the thing is not coming. Even making a temple, the thing is not coming. Is it that we are not potent yogis? We are not potent at all, or what? What is happening?
Well, I think you have the answer. You know the answer. Just ask on behalf. The fact that as Bhakti yogis, we are not practicing the development of these mystic perfections that we can use at our will. That is the difference between us and Kadarma Muni. Kadarma Muni, he was also practicing this mystic yoga system. Even though he was meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was performing so much austerity, but he was also into all these mysticisms. And so when the time came that he has to use it, he did. In our situation, we don't give much attention to yogic powers. We only give much attention to the power of Bhakti powers. And when it comes to the power of Bhakti, Krishna takes charge. The devotee completely depends on Krishna. And so the devotee does not, even if he has those powers, he does not even display them. He simply depends on Krishna. So I would say we have to depend on Krishna whenever Krishna thinks is best for us, that he's given us. Even if we are faced with, poverty or some difficulty or some inability to meet up with our household expenditure, we should still see it in the light of devotional service, that Krishna has a reason for not giving us so much opulence. Sometimes to manage opulence is very difficult. In fact, I think I was talking with somebody 2 days ago, and the fellow was telling me, Prabhu, it is better you are without opulence, because when Krishna gives you a lot of opulence, you have a problem to manage the opulence. At the same time, manage your spiritual life. So for a devotee, we leave everything in Krishna's hands. If Krishna wants us to be very opulent, Krishna will make it possible. If Krishna thinks that our current situation is the best for our devotional service, Krishna will manifest that. Even in the life of Srila Prabhupada, we saw both aspects. When Prabhupada was preaching in Jhansi, he was completely impoverished. He had to depend on people even for his daily bread, and as they depend on people for facilities for preaching. Somebody donated some hall, and when Prabhupada started preaching, they came and took away the hall from him and gave the hall to another group. And Prabhupada was without any facility for preaching. So Prabhupada had to leave Jhansi and then come to Vrindavan, and somehow at the Radha Damodara temple, they gave him some facility. In fact, he went to 2 or 3 places before he came to that Radha Damodara temple. So then he continued to live very simply, just concentrating on his studies. And even to go to America, Srila Prabhupada had to beg for a ticket. He had to beg for a free passage to go to America. The Scindia Shipping Company, Madam Murariji, had to give Prabhupada a free ticket to go to America. Otherwise, Prabhupada could not have financed his own journey to America. So just to show that even our founder, Acharya, also went through a similar situation. But when Prabhupada started the movement in America, of course, for the whole year, it's the same situation. But at some point, the tables turned. That personality, that saintly person who was struggling to raise some little money for his maintenance, became one of the leading, millionaires or billionaires on the planet. So that is what Krishna wanted to do with his life. And he just surrendered to Krishna. In fact, it even says sometimes Krishna takes away the wealth from a devotee if the wealth is going to be a stumbling block. Krishna's interest for a devotee is how the devotee can return home. That's Krishna's number one interest in the devotee, how the devotee can become Krishna conscious. That is his number one interest. And all other things are secondary. But if Krishna sees that you need certain things to progress on your path, Krishna will facilitate it. There's nothing impossible. Nothing impossible. Kim alabhyam bhagavati prashane sriniketane. There is nothing impossible for Krishna to do. And there is nothing impossible for a devotee to achieve in the service of the Lord. But Krishna, he is the person who decides. So I would say, it's not that you are not a powerful yogi, Bhakti yogi, but because we are depending on Krishna, we just live, we just depend on the Lord, and whatever he arranges for us, we accept, because we know that the Lord, he knows better. I also remember His Holiness Bhakti Tita Maharaj. One time Bhakti Tita Maharaj said, see, if I want to start performing miracles, we cannot contain the people in this temple. And he said this in Lagos, we're in Lagos. He said, if I begin to perform miracles in this temple, we cannot control the crowd. But they are not coming for the real thing. They won't come for the Krishna consciousness. They'll be coming after the mystical power. They'll be coming after the opulences of mysticism. So because of that, I would not get involved in any mystical energies. So it means that at his level, Krishna had blessed him with some mystic power, but he didn't want to display it because it would simply attract all kinds of people who would not be serious with bhakti. So I would say that in conclusion, Krishna, he decides what is best for the devotee. If Krishna thinks that the well will help you, he will give you. But if he feels the wealth will take you away from his service, Krishna will prefer to keep you in this humble situation without wealth so that you can remain a devotee for the rest of your life. We have seen people who got money and then they give up Krishna consciousness. We've seen these things also. So Krishna is evaluating the situation and then he would fulfill according to the need, provided it does not distract you from your devotional service. I don't know whether that answers your question. Kavi Kanapuru hand is up.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for the answer. It's wonderful. And my own question is that even though we have been preaching out the realization and the educational's will for many years, and I remember that our young devotees or the devotees who are coming, devotee children, they can see how their parent is struggling in terms of how to meet up with even the educational system and all those things. So even though we preach these things, but they themselves now, they have taken a different mode. And they are not into these renunciation things.
That's right.
And they want to really, be okay in life and pursue their dreams or whatever it may be. So my own question is that, and also we have seen also another example is that the young devotees who are coming behind also, I can give some few examples. I don't want to mention names.
Okay.
They go into this helping people, doing jagia, selling paraphernalias to make ends meet, to help themselves and their family. Means that also they are not into this renunciation thing. So at what point are we going to start? Because the way we are looking at it, if it continues like this, after some time, the preaching also will become like the Christianities who started with the renunciation preaching. Then when they saw that it was not working, they changed to prosperity preaching. Which there's so many also verses to back it up in their scripture. Because there's always both in our scriptures, both renunciation and prosperity is always there in the scripture. It just depends on which one we want to focus. So what are we going to do looking forward in order to encourage the young generation to pursue a self-sufficient life at the same time without not telling them so much about renunciation in a way that they've seen those people who are renounced and they are not happy and they're complaining about their situation. So how can we balance this, Maharaj? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Well, it's a fact that the younger generation, they are reluctant to follow the example of the pioneers. That is a fact. And but for the movement, for the preaching to continue, for the standards to be maintained, at least we would still need some of the younger generation to practice this aspect of renunciation, because it's the renunciation that helps one to imbibe the culture of Krishna consciousness and be prepared to sacrifice to keep the movement going. Of course, it doesn't mean that if one has opulence or one is materially situated, properly situated, he cannot preach or he cannot, present Krishna consciousness. But the one who is engaged in let's say generation of income, you have to have a job, you have to have a business, you have to get involved with the material world. You may not have sufficient time to, to push the preaching that is there. So I would say, as a balance, those who are inclined to living a life of simplicity, they can still be encouraged to follow the path of renunciation. But those who think this is too much of an austerity and they want to engage in some form of activity to generate income, whether by getting a job or by starting a business or whatever they want to do, they should be allowed to do so. But we will need both categories. Like we see in the case of Radha Gopinath Temple, the brahmacharis are needed because they constitute the inspiration for the householders. And the householders are needed because they provide the resources for the temple. So both are needed. We should not minimize the other to promote the other. Actually, that's what we have done in the past. In the past, we put a lot of emphasis on renunciation at the cost of, generating income, encouraging devotees who were capable of, taking up jobs, starting their own businesses, and, becoming empowered financially to support the movement. So for me, I would say we should encourage both paths. Whoever is interested in, taking up full-time devotional service, becoming a brahmachari, becoming a sannyasi, it should be encouraged because we need them full-time. Those who want to engage in some, business, some study, some work to generate income, to support themselves, and also support the temple, we should also encourage them. So in this way, a balance can be struck. Otherwise, if we just go the one way as we're doing before, then the younger generation, they think that is too much austerity, too much deprivation, too much renunciation. They are not into that. But I'm sure amongst them, there are few who may still have the spirit of renunciation, who may still have the spirit of simple living. And so those will be encouraged. But those who want to enter into business, do some more studies, get a good job, they should also be encouraged because we need both parties. That is my take in this scenario.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. And in addition to that, Maharaj, now we have all these young devotees coming around in our temple. So how especially those devotees who are children, devotees' children also who are like taking Bhakti Shastri, as we are closer to them now, how can we be able to detect which one fall into which place so that we can encourage them accordingly? Because it's very, very important. Yeah. And so I think our educational system, the Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, should be encouraged in a way that we can detect this principle in them and encourage them accordingly. I don't know, maybe I'm right, Maharaj.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's something I was thinking about. I think yesterday, when we were in our seniors ministry meeting, when we're talking about identifying prospective renunciates, amongst devotees, and then creating a facility for them from the onset. So even before they apply for sannyas, they're already given the training. They're already in the mood. So in the same way, we could add some aspects of the of the scripture that can bring out the tendencies of the students. And then that can help us identify those who are inclined to detachment, renunciation, as well as those who want to learn some skills and engage in some generation of funds to maintain themselves as well as support the society. But I also think that there is a system that is being practiced in Radha Gopinath Temple. It's called the counseling system. The counseling system divides the devotees into groups. First of all, the counselors are trained to counsel the devotees. And by counseling the devotees, you can begin to understand each and every one of them, because they will come up with different issues. And by interacting with them, you can actually tell the mood of each devotee. So we have been thinking about introducing this counseling system here in Ghana as a sample, as a pilot project to see how it works. And if it brings us the desired results, then we may multiply it. Because the counseling system also brings out the different moods of the devotees. And the counselors are able to detect that this devotee, he loves this, and that devotee, he prefers that. So if we can also introduce the counseling system, in addition to trying to, encourage those who are inclined to renunciation to attend, of course, we have not yet created a facility. We have not created a facility of a training institute for those who are inclined to renunciation to go there and be trained. We don't have that yet. It's just an idea. But I think the counseling system, if we can initiate that, it will help us to understand devotees better, to understand the mood of devotees better, and we can advise accordingly. That for you, from every indication, it's good for you to be a renunciate, and for you, from every indication, it's better for you to get a skill, get a job, or start a business. So that counseling system will be a way of helping us. But as you said, I think we should design a program that can be added to the Bhakti Shastri, or maybe Bhakti Vaibhava, whatever, so that from there, those who are inclined differently, they can be identified. Maybe we can ask Bhakti Brihad Bhagwat Swami Maharaj. He's very good at things of this nature. He designed a Bhakti Sadachar and many other things. So maybe he can design something that can help us identify the different moods of the different devotees. But thank you for bringing it up. It is a fact that our younger generation, they think we emphasize so much on renunciation, and that has brought many of the older devotees into a situation where they are not self-sufficient. And so they don't want to follow that path. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maharaj. And also, like you are saying, Maharaj, it's very, very important. Like you're saying that this program you want to set up in Ghana is very, very important, Maharaj. And this is the right time. Because from all these, our devoted children, you can never tell who will be the next Prabhupada of West Africa. That's because the Prabhupada's father saw Prabhupada's mood. The mother wanted him to become a lawyer. He said, no, he would let him learn this, let him learn this. He wants him to be a devotee. So we can never tell whose devotee child is going to be the next Prabhupada of West Africa. So it's a very nice program that you are trying to set, Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. We'll try. We need the blessings of all of you to be able to do something. Yeah, I think our time is fast spent. I think tomorrow we can try to finish the chapter because we are on text 28 or 27. I think we just complete 27. So, I think this verse, this section ends at 37. The group B, they end at 37. And then group C ends at 39, I guess. And then from 40 to 48, then we finish up. So we'll see whether we can finish up tomorrow. Then maybe next week we start the last chapter, the renunciation of Kandarma Muni. So let's come early tomorrow so that we can start on time and finish on time. So if there are no other comments or questions, we can end here at 27. Tomorrow we begin from 28, and we shall try to speed up. So the last part, that is 37 to 39 or so, that is the Nevahuti traveling with the husband to different heavenly planets. So do the group have something to present? Do the group have something to present? Yeah, group C. We are already in group B now. We are 27. We are going to 37, and 39 to 43 is group C. Places visited in the aerial mansion. So this group, do they have something to show us tomorrow, or they have not prepared anything?
And Adikisha Maharaj, Rasavan Prabhu is here, so maybe we should tell him to put into soft copy for tomorrow.
Yeah. So Rasavan Prabhu, we appreciated your presentation, the pictorial presentation, but while you were trying to show us, then your internet got frozen and you could not complete your presentation.
Yes,
so, the suggestion is that can you scan it?
My data got finished. So I just wanted to buy another data.
Load it. Okay. So Kavi Kanapro was suggesting that if you can scan it, then maybe you could put it on the screen for us to see tomorrow. It's very beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can scan it, then you can show it on the screen tomorrow. And then for group C, I don't know who are in charge, who are the people given to group C?
I think Chitraketu and then Jyoti Swarup, but Jyoti Swarup is not here today.
Okay. So Chitra Putra Prabhu, you were joined with Jyoti Swarup for group C. Draw the places visited in the aerial mansion by reading through verses 39 to 43. So you draw some pictures for us tomorrow. Is that possible?
Why not? It's possible.
Is it possible, Chitraketu Putra Prabhu? You are muted.
Yeah, so you am I to draw those at the time unless I go through then I see. I don't know what I'm part of.
Yeah, you are supposed to do it along with Jyoti Swarup. but I'm sure he did not inform you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's not here himself. So we'll give you up to tomorrow. Just go through the verses from 39 to 43. And then there are different planets and places you went. Just give it a pictorial, just your imagination, and create some pictures for us to see. Just as Rasavan Prabhu has shown us the aerial mansion, and then the lake in which the Vahuti is bathing with the celestial ladies taking care of her, is just to picture. It's a pictorial attempt to try. You are traveling there. You are putting yourself as a witness of what is happening just by going through these descriptions. You are traveling along with Kadarva Muni and his wife. You are part of this universal tour. So create some pictures for us. It's like you are a cameraman and you are traveling with Kadarva Muni, and you are taking snapshots of those places they visited.
All right.
So give us not so many, but at least some. Right? Give us some, not all, but some. With the you can give names. Say the Kananab Gardens, the different places. You can just draw some things and put the names and explain. It helps you to memorize it. It helps you to internalize it. So it's an exercise to help us remember that incident. So on that note, we will say thank you very much. It's already 11:30. We've gone 30 minutes above time. So we'll see everybody at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Please be punctual so that we can cover the whole chapter tomorrow, the rest of the chapter tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Kamalaji. 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 Kamalaxji. I don't hear it. Kamalaji. So you have been creating illusion that you are there, but you are not there.
We usually have the network problem. He told me I discussed with him previously. Because of his location, because of his new location, it's in a village, that's their temple. Because I asked him also, he was happening in trouble. So he explained to me that place, the network is very, very, so I think that's his problem.
So he created illusion. He appeared to be there, but he was not there.
Not intentional.
Okay,
I don't think
but whether he created it.
No, it's not intentional.
Whether intentional or not, it was created.
Because I have to ask him, query him seriously. Then he explained all his problems. He said that place is even about, is it 10 kilometers away from Warri? So you can imagine that type of network inside a village. So the thing will appear to disappear. So maybe you can bear with him.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
But now you didn't present anybody for Bhakti Sastri this year. Why?
Okay, myself.
You did not present anybody for Bhakti Sastri from your yatra. Why?
Well, the reason is that most of the members, some doesn't even have an analog, doesn't have a browsing phone, and things like that. Many of them are not online.
In this modern age,
I don't know what happened, but many of them, and then some of them that they are businessmen, like Nitai, for instance. And I don't know if he has done Bhakti Shastri, but Nitai is a businessman, he's still very busy. I don't know. And I'll still work on it. I'll work on it.
He's a professor of his own, so he will not have time to come and be participating in something that will not need some immediate results.
No. Life is steady, Bravo. It's just like part of what we discussed in this lecture today. You know, the pioneers, they are the people who sacrificed for this movement. But after that, you have to follow the normal process. You know, when people are young, they have to have this formal education and even become a grasser. But thereafter, one can become a Vanaprastha, then become renowned sheikh, you know. So, and that's how we're having some of these problems, financial problems. But for the pioneers, inevitable. It's inevitable. We have, but now we have to follow the process, just like the Vanacari system. You know. Yeah. So I think that's how we have. But otherwise, it's not level of other spiritual groups.
So, like you now, if you are asked to identify your banner, which one do you think you fall into?
I'm in the process now because all my children are grown up. My wife has left me because of Krishna consciousness. So I'm living alone. So in a way, I'm gonna prosper. And that's my situation.
Okay, that's your ashram. What of your banner? What's your banner? What are you a Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Sudra?
I'm a Vaishya. I'm a Vaishya because I'm a businessman.
Okay, that is very good. It's good you know your banner.
I know it very well. And I know what my responsibility should be.
That's good. So keep it up. It doesn't matter whichever banner you are. It doesn't matter. The banner becomes complete when it is channeled to pleasing Krishna. So
yes, and you know one can graduate from one level to the other. It's not fixed. One can graduate, you know.
Okay, if we want to.
One can graduate. From Vanacari, one can graduate to be a science. So it depends.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So I'm moving gradually. I didn't jump steady. Even if you look at Prabhupada, if you went into all this process before becoming science. So for some of you, people like you jump the process. You know, you jump the process, but you are pioneers and you have to do the sacrifice. There's a mantra, I think mantra 11, it's that only one who can learn the process of nation, and that of the transcendental knowledge, side by side, can transcend the difference of the birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. So,
why is it that your voice is now very clear, like mine?
Okay, let me say, maybe because I'm.
Okay. What about now?
Better.
Okay, it's better. Okay, I was using earpiece.
Okay.
So let me repeat. I said mantra 11 in the Upanishads. that only one who can learn the process of nations and that of transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessings of immortality. If I can understand the text, I think these two knowledge, one has to understand it properly.
We are taking Srivas Upanishad right now in Bhakti Sastri. We are taking Srivas Upanishad. And when we get there, we give attention to that particular mantra and try to understand it.
It's very, very important. Very, very important. Because a devotee is also said that one should be self-sufficient as a devotee. Yeah. So all those things. Krishna will help us, Prabhu.
He's helping us. We are not the bodies, we are spirit souls. So he's helping the soul to evolve. Understand?
To be a devotee, one has to work very, very, very hard. Not hard, very, 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 very hard. Very, very hard. As I am now, as a temple president, I have to see how the finance of the temple has to go on, at least basic financing. So I have to work. I have to work very hard, raise the finance, and because right now, who is going to support me? Virtually nobody.
Krishna is there. Krishna is there. Maybe you need to just increase your devotion seriously and focus seriously on whatever angle you are doing. If it is waking up, you wake up early, chant your rounds attentively, do the program attentively, offer your prasadam attentively, then chant more rounds, waiting for Krishna's intervention. It will happen. If you have that faith.
That's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. I have to work very, very, very hard. I have to work very, very hard, combining both the business and the spiritual life. I have to, both has to go on, and Krishna is helping anyway. And
but when you're alone, do you sometimes stand up and sing, begin to sing and dance seriously alone?
My house is like another temple. It's another temple. My bhajan, everything is going on. Everything is going on. I even have sound system. That
and you dance sometimes. You dance.
I dance. And even in the temple, I dance seriously. I lead the guitar.
Yes. Tamal is a good dancer also.
Who?
He's a good dancer.
Who?
Tamal Krishna.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That's good.
By your Matthew.
He dances with all his heart and it's very wonderful.
Only I met him.
Krishna is just smiling, watching us. There is abundance. See, we are not under the superintendent of material nature again. We are under the superintendent of Yoga Maya. So she is there to provide everything that we actually need. She creates the background for all the persons. So she is conducting us. So we have arrived at this somehow or the other frequency, somehow or the other. Everything is going on. So that is mystical life. Devotional mysticism is somehow or the other. That is the platform. It's already going on, but we are trying to equate ourselves with the other way. That's why we are thinking nothing is going on.
Yeah, okay.
It's wonderful. Devotee's life is inconceivable. Yes. The Ashintya Shakti is taking charge, is in charge. So let's keep on, maintaining our focus. And we are there. And we are actually, those devotees are the successful people. But there is serious danger trying to integrate the material and the spiritual as the young ones are trying to do so much. It is not by our abilities. If you just act according to your quota in the Savasya principle, everything else will fall in place. And that's why it has been going on for us. You see, we don't know the future. We don't know the past. So how do we know what is best for us? Krishna knows, and that is what is given to us at a particular time. Then some of us will begin to complain as if we are the architects of our future, like that. So we should just become devotees, and that's all. That's all. We chant our rounds more, clean the deities, offer food to the deities, sing and dance. You'll be surprised. The day you don't even go out at all, that is the Krishna arrangement. You get a phone call, or that you should have gotten outside. We just meet you through the phone. It will manifest inside your room. This is how we have been living, and it's mystical life. So it's okay. We're trying to identify people according to their Varna ashram is external. In Krishna consciousness, everything is transcendentally absorbed. So we should just become Krishna conscious and everything is taken care of. Honestly. Did we know how the arrangement was made for us to feed in the stomach? Was it your father's arrangements when you were feeding the stomach? Was it your mother's arrangement? No. No. Yes, the arrangement of the fruit, the whole tree being engraved in the seed, and the seed becoming a tree and producing innumerable fruit. Each fruit has a seed and producing. Is it our arrangement? So there's already complete arrangement to sustain everybody. That we just have to play our parts, just as the hand just has to play its parts in connection with the whole body. The hand doesn't need to separately say, I want to eat food. I want to do this, and they begin to go looking for food. It should just arrange and send something to the stomach, and everything else is taken care of automatically. So this is the automatic arrangement of the Lord. So if one becomes a devotee, automatically everything else falls in place. So what is lacking is a pure devotional service. That's all. What do you think?
You are right, Prabhu. Thank you very much. you are correct.
When Arjuna was trying to make his effort, if I calculate, if I do like this, he did and did, eventually realized that it is from the point to surrender that, okay, I'm an instrument ready to act according to your plan. Finish everything that's all in place for him. This is the whole philosophy. And that's what Tamal is trying to practice. Though he has not sent me data for a long time. Because he's saying that my business with him is finished. It's not finished yet, Prabhu.
No, it's not finished yet.
Send me data now.
It's now about to start.
Right now, send me data. I have many of your children and grandchildren in my class now. We are almost 30 students. We have almost 30 students in our Bhakti section this time.
Wow, marvelous.
Yes.
That's very good.
Marvelous.
All by His grace. The Parampara made the arrangement and gave us for them to associate with, so that we can move to the next level. So we are trying to do our part. That's all.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, glories.
Oh, glory.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. I don't know, the manager of the platform has just abandoned the platform for us. And he has gone somewhere. He has forgotten that the platform is open. That means he was not even there when the class was going on. It's true. When Salika said, oh, I'm coming, I'm going to do something, he has not come back.
I think Salika is so busy somewhere.
He's absorbed somewhere, he has forgotten.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, situation with Salika Prabhu is also peculiar, because I think is it last lecture or previous lecture was telling me that he will still be engaged himself alone with the deity and everything, as if he doesn't have assistants or people to, he's still a pujari, he's the president. I think that one is just too much for him. I pity him a lot.
For a long time. Who put him in that position?
Krishna put him.
Why did Krishna put him there like that?
Because he knows he's competent to do it.
Yes. That's part of it. And by his own deeds and thoughts, he also feels that is actually better for him.
Yeah.
That is actually, if I'm alone, I take all the decisions, then I can do things the way I see, then that's better for me also. So that thought, Krishna take it from there. Krishna is Bhava Grahi Janadana. He responds to the innermost intention of the individual.
Yeah,
so externally we say, oh, there are no people, I don't like it, but he likes it. He likes to be a lone ranger. And Krishna just responds to that desire. So that is it. It's camouflaging when he says he's alone, he doesn't want to. Yeah. He has a lot of preaching arrangements all over till he has gone international, global. So I see that he cannot get a few people to stay with him to take charge of things. If you have desire to delegate responsibilities, then you will see the opportunity to do it. So Krishna is beyond the external. He knows the innermost intention and he responds to that. Goranga.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, glory to you. Thank you very much. Any of you can, if you want to save your data, you can go. You are free to go, even though the platform is not officially closed. And don't forget your data is going. You're supposed to retain it for tomorrow. Dhamma Krishna Prabhu, send me data, please. Hare Krishna. And it's a long time, Ralavan Prabhu, you have not sent me data also. Those devotees here, you should be kind enough to send me data. Honestly. Should be kind enough. This is a sacrificial program we are doing. And you have a role to play. Play it diligently. If you truly appreciate that we are Brahmanas, we are Kshatriyas, we are Vaishyas, we can act on any platform in Krishna consciousness. And I'm doing this. And then support, free-handedly. What are you keeping your surplus for? The surplus, what are you keeping it for? You have land, you have houses, you have businesses, you are still keeping your surplus. For what? Quickly channel it to support propagation of this transcendental knowledge. Support those who are trying to live the transcendental knowledge, preaching it, who are eating it. Support them because there's a secret. If you do that, there's a secret. It's a secret in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. Where is that man? There's a big secret. It's like I can't lay my hand on the quote, but there's a powerful quote. Where is it? Okay, I can find it. That way I wrote it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
This area of support that you mentioned now, if you permit me to give my own opinion about it. Okay. Just the time I took up the responsibility of becoming a temple president, I now noticed that people are generally very reluctant to do anything for Krishna. We are very, very reluctant. And that's why we are not having many people in the temple, devotees, because when devotees or renunciates are in the temple and the other sections of the system, they are not supporting. So, we are not maintaining the financial system. We are not doing our responsibility. A Grihastha is supposed to support the activities in the temple, So, but since we are reluctant, we are not doing it. It's affecting our movement so much. And as a Grihastha, when you support activities in the temple, you get more and more and more and more, because Krishna is supplying.
Let me give you the quotation. Let me give you this. You are right. Let me give you the quotation now. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, chapter 17, There's 44, write it down.
Okay,
11,
44.
17,
11,
44.
17, 44. Okay, I've written it down. Thank
Yes.
you.
You should use it for your fundraising, Prabhu. You should use it for
I'll do that.
fundraising. When you meet
Okay.
any person who has Lashmi, whether Indian or African, use this particular quotation for him.
Okay, thank you.
Samudaranti ye vipram siddhanta parayanam tan udais ye na chirag apadyo nau ibanavat. Just as a ship rescues those who are falling into the ocean, similarly, I, that is Krishna, very quickly rescue from all calamities those persons who uplift brahmanas and devotees suffering in a poverty-stricken condition. If you use that slogan, quote the Bhagavatam, open it for the Indian man, the rich Indian man to read. Read it and start explaining. Don't go away from there. Just read it, explain, read it, translation again. Try to explain to him. And when you finish doing that, you go away.
It's very powerful, Prabhu. Very powerful.
Yes.
I will try.
So
Very
especially if you're already a devotee and you happen to have Lashmi, what stops you from helping other devotees who are struggling? This is the secret. Your Lashmi alone cannot take you anywhere. But if you are helping devotees who are in need, Krishna says he will personally pick you out from all calamities. Yes. I will very quickly rescue him from all calamities. Yes.
It's powerful. Very powerful.
Yes. So that is it. Those who have surplus, don't pity for them. Pity for them is to tell them what to do. Then they'll be happy. Is to support and help devotees who are in need. Huh? Or are they going to eat the words? Have they forgotten that time will take them, separate them from everything? So why don't you use that one you have to create a permanent situation for you, but permanent spiritual asset for yourself? So when you are telling them, talk to them like Bhaktas who don't know anything. Don't respect them. This is a great big person. No, talk to them straight into their face and move away. Let them deliberate on it. You are not the one speaking. Krishna is speaking. Yes. Samudaranti. Samuda, from that ocean. You are picked out. Very quickly. Samudaranti, Samudaranti, ye vipram, siddhantam matparayanam, tan udaris ye na chirat, apadyo now ibanavat. Just as a ship rescues those who are falling into the ocean, similarly, I very quickly rescue from all calamities those persons who uplift brahmanas and devotees suffering in the poverty-stricken condition. So that is it. They are positioned there to benefit others. There is a way of benefiting others. Just by being in that position and being a loyal Brahman and still, you have the opportunity to liberate others from their situation. Because by doing good to you, those people attract the attention of Krishna.
Yes.
So that is it, bro.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
It's a secret for fundraising. It's a secret.
I'm supposed to send you Salashmi for this thing you are giving me, Prabhu.
Yes. When I come to Nigeria in November, just get all that you can put together and hand it over to me in Benin Festival. In Benin Festival, when we are offering your certificates.
Okay. Okay.
I will come to that Bini Festival in November, National Theatre in November.
By Krishna's mercy, we'll see.
If we are alive till then.
Okay, that's why I said Krishna's mercy.
Yes.
By his mercy.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you very much. You can go and keep your data now against tomorrow.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Go Ranga.
Ranga. Yes, we are complete. We are a complete unit. All that Krishna has created is complete in itself. The material nature is complete. The human beings are complete. Everything he has created is complete. Just as the hand is also, the human body is complete. But the completeness of the human being or our own completeness is dependent on his completeness. Therefore, we are dependently complete while he is independently complete. Our dependent completeness is the completeness of the hand. It is when the hand is in connection with the whole body that it is complete. That is when it will be nourished. But when it is separated from the body, it cannot exist. It has no existence outside of its connection with the body. You see? It may have the features of a hand, but it cannot do any of the functions of the hand. But when it is reconnected back to the body, it functions automatically with the whole body. And that is our completeness. Our completeness as living part and parcel of Krishna, we are dependently complete. It's only when we are doing devotional service to the Lord that we are complete. You see? It is when we are connected to the Lord in devotional service, recognizing him as the supreme proprietor in his Sabbathia consciousness, then working in harmony with him, then we are complete automatically. And that completeness will sustain us through. JJ Ram.
Jai.
All right.
Hare Krishna. Okay, you are free to go. I am free to go. Tamal is free to go. Tamal, you send your donation now. Send your data.
Yes. Don't worry. I'll check the phone. When there's a last minute, I'll do it.
Please do. I do. I'm waiting for it right now. I want to go out, but I want to collect it before I go and cash it out. Let it enter, bro.
Let me check and see.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Baba.
So when are you facing the meeting?
It's like Salika has not come back since he left, so the platform is still open. Yes.
So we should be there.
We are there. I'm there. But
I should come there.
yes, you can come there.
Okay.
We are dependently complete. She is independently complete.
All glories, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Babaji.
The thing is still live now. Prabhu Salika has not removed it from live since 12:30.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
In that time he left during the class, he has not returned. You see my background?
Yeah, I saw your background.
No.
You know what you will do? For you to be able to use your computer. Let me sign in with my login so that I can remove you online.
Así que, dale,